We're gonna start today's story off with a bang, or maybe more accurately, a mournful wail. This is followed by the mournful wail of a saxophone. Let's set the scene. Year 1938. Place Russia. An illegal jazz club, smoky, dimly lit, people dancing. Then suddenly, the door bursts open. A gunshot echoes through the room. Everyone freezes. Is it a robbery? Is it the police? Maybe both. In this case, it's neither. It's just the protagonist of our story making a dramatic entrance. Our story begins with him and his band setting up their instruments on a makeshift stage. It was 1938, and these musicians were about to do something crazy. They were about to play a piece of music that would change the course of their lives forever. Their leader, Dmitri Shostakovich, took a deep breath, raised his baton and began conducting. The music swelled, filling every corner of the club. It was a hauntingly beautiful jazz suite, filled with all the soul and swing that made the genre so irresistible. Yet there was something different about this music, something dangerous. But why? To understand that, we need to go back to the beginning. Meet our composer, Dmitri Shostakovich. Born in 1906 in St. Petersburg, Russia, Shostakovich's passion for music began at an early age. By the time he was 19, he had composed his first symphony. But it was his Jazz Suite No. 2 that truly set him apart. Written in 1938, it was a bold experiment, a fusion of American jazz and Russian classical music. But it wasn't just the composition that made it unique. It was what it represented. Under Stalin, jazz was labeled decadent Western noise. It symbolized freedom, rebellion, and everything the regime feared. You see, jazz had a reputation as a subversive music, a soundtrack to the underground, a genre that thrived on improvisation and breaking the rules, much like the people who listened to it. For the Communist Party, this was unacceptable. They wanted their citizens to listen to only what they approved of, and so they banned jazz, real jazz as they called it, labeling it bourgeois and decadent. Musicians were persecuted, their instruments confiscated and melted down. Shostakovich, with his roots in the Russian musical establishment, found himself torn between two worlds. He loved jazz and its improvisational freedom, but he also loved his country and didn't want to see it descend into tyranny. So he hid his face while performing jazz and even disguised himself as a waiter at one point. But no amount of hiding could erase the impact of his music. In 1948, Shostakovich's work was blacklisted. The original score was lost. Performances were banned. Even mentioning it was risky. That same year, he composed Symphony No. 8. A work so powerful and moving that it was seen as a protest against the regime. Some say it was his jazz suite in disguise, a brilliant move that allowed him to keep playing the music he loved without getting himself in too much trouble. But regardless, it didn't stop the censors. In 1948, Shostakovich's work was blacklisted. The original score was lost, performances were banned, even mentioning it was risky. For the next 3 decades, the suite became a ghost, a musical specter haunting the corridors of Soviet music. Musicians whispered about it in hushed tones, fearing the consequences of playing it, and so it seemed that the music would be lost forever. But you know what they say, good music never dies. It just keeps playing. In 1999, a forgotten copy of the Jazz Suites was discovered in the archives of the Russian State Library in St. Petersburg. After 50 years, the world finally heard it again. A recording of the rediscovered piece was released in 2001, followed by several more. Today, it's considered one of the greatest works of the 20th century and a masterpiece of Soviet jazz. So why did they try to silence this music? Well, because jazz isn't just music. It's a feeling, a way of life, a rebellion against the status quo. It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can find a way to express itself, to break free from the chains of conformity, and to swing to the beat of its own drum. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button for more untold stories of jazz. Until then, remember, jazz never fades away. It just keeps playing. And I'll see you on the next one.